Good morning. It is so good to be back here again. Speaking about being back here again, I got my timer going. I have to, anyway, so it's talking about being back here again. I just want to let you guys know that I'm here pretty much once a month. And next month on October 24th, I will be here. But I'm also doing a workshop next month. And it's called, you may not have heard this before, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. The scientific art of prayer. It's promising to be a really good one. So let's just get right into this. This is what I know. I know that there is an infinite intelligence. Adelia, thank you for that prayer. Oh my God. I know that there is an infinite intelligence. We can call it whatever we want to call it. Call it God, call it Allah, call it Krishna, call it whatever you want to call it. But let's call it forth into our conscious awareness. I know that this is what I know. I know that this infinite intelligence continues to just have its way in through and as each and every one of us. That's why we are here, to express itself, right? Or it is here as us expressing itself as us. I love the word expressed. It means to press out. So when you really think about that this infinite intelligence that is expressing itself as us is pressing itself in through and as each and every one of us. What I love about the one power, the one presence, the one life, the one expresses as the all. Yeah. The one expresses as the all. All there is comes from this one power, this one source, this one, whatever you want to call it. Call it divine intelligence. Don't call it anything at all. Call it forth into your conscious awareness. Because when you call on it, here's this, right? When you call on it, you're calling on yourself with that big S, self. Right? So this month's theme is reaching higher. Reaching higher. Reaching higher. And I think the first week is reaching higher. And it was about, finding our growing edge. But here's the thing about reaching higher. If the infinite intelligence, if God, I love the word God. For me, if God is all there is, and there's nothing for me to reach for. What am I reaching for? Yeah. What am I reaching for, right? There's nothing to reach for, because whatever I think that I'm reaching for, I already am. Yeah. Right? Time out. Hello, everybody out there in that land. Time in. There is nothing. Let me reach for you. There is nothing to reach for. When we're talking about, reaching higher, what we really mean, or what I really mean, what we really mean is raising our consciousness higher. There's nothing to reach for, right? So when we start finding our growing edge, because once we set the intention, I am reaching higher, I am raising my consciousness, I am raising my vibration, I want to touch lives around the world. And now what happens is life begins to show us beautiful experiences for us to test our spiritual muscles. Yes. Ooh-wee, and sometimes that's not all that good looking. But because we are raising our vibration, it doesn't matter how good it looks or how good it doesn't look, because there's only one power. It's the power of God showing up as everything. Out of that one substance, everything shows up. So no matter how it may look to my eyes, let me get past my physical eyes, because this is my growing edge. Let me get past my physical eyes to look through and past that physical barrier, which then goes past the mental barrier to the spiritual source. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right. So when we're talking about raising our consciousness, finding our growing edge, and sometimes our growing edge shows up as that person who pushes that last button. Oh my goodness, gets on that last nerve. But why do we wait until the last nerve? Let me start praying. Let me start loving when I first get that little trigger, right? My growing edge is, it's not that Adelia pushed my button. She didn't put the button there. She just allowed me to see that there's one there. She may have pushed it, but she did not install it. So I go, thank you. So I say, thank you, Adelia, for showing that to me. Yeah. Now I get to go, okay, So now my growing edge, what's my work? What's my work? Oh, see, I'm created in the spiritual image and after the spiritual likeness and the spiritual nature of the divine, whatever that means for me. For me, the divine, God is the nature of the divine is to love. Oh, so then I am created in the nature of love. Okay, so that button was pushed. So let me do my work. The growing edges, let me do my work to love myself through that. Yes. Wow, then I go, okay. And I go, Delia, thank you so much. Can I take you to lunch? You have no idea what you've done for me. So when we have those people in our lives that push that button, that flip that trigger, or you have a situation that does that, do not get upset with them or that. It has nothing to do with them or that, because it's all an inside job. Yeah. That's the growing edge. Week 2, reaching higher. Remember, we're not reaching. There's nothing to reach for, but we're going to stay with the theme. Yeah, right. Reaching higher, which is what we're really doing, is raising our consciousness higher. Week 2 was transcend and include. Transcend and include. So I'm still going to use this example with Adalia or whoever pushed the button, right? And so let me transcend. And that's what we did, right? I recognize that they did not install the button, but they may have pushed the button, but they didn't install it. And when we come to that recognition, when we come to that clarification, now we have transcended the situation, right? Now comes the inclusion. Now let me include them. Yeah, I know. But then that takes us back to our growing edge, right? I don't want to include them. I may not want to include them. Okay, you don't have to go out and have lunch. You don't have to invite them to your party, but what you can do is include them in your prayer work. What you can do is include them in just saying a kind word about them, wishing them the very best, the highest and the best in their lives. Because here's the thing, whatever we give, we receive. We receive. I don't love because I'm a nice guy, which I am a nice guy. But that's not why I love so much. I love because it comes back. I'm selfish with that capital S, right? So love because it comes back. So we transcend and we include. I love, those of you who know me know how much I love affirmative prayer. It's not just something that we say when we're here at the pulpit or the podium or in class. It is a way of life. To me, it is a way of life. And I don't call the steps. I call them principles. I call them divine ways of living. Imagine what it would be like to live recognizing the divine in everything and everyone. To live like that. To wake up and go, God, I recognize the divine in that good night's sleep I had. I recognize the divine that has sewn the 1,200 count sheet. That's a pretty good sheet. But I recognize the divine in that. And then I am one with that power and that presence that has created all of that. Oh, and I recognize the divine in that person who has pushed that button. Oh, I am one with that person. See, here's what I love about that, right? When we really, really get that we are one with that, with it all, and that person, oh, see, Spirit, when we really get that we are one with that one person, with that whatever is going on. Hang on, something's coming through here. Okay, I got it. When we are one with that person who pushes the button, we are one with that situation that causes us pain. Now we get to step into compassion. What was coming through was a story from the New Testament, and they were asking Yeshua, what is the greatest commandment? And he said, there are 2. The first is to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your might, which means with everything that we have. Our heart, our mind, our soul, which means action, and our might, which means our physicality, right? So everything's about loving God. And then he said, then it's written that the second commandment, I love this. If this is the first commandment, the second commandment is just like unto the first. It's just like the first one, is to love your neighbor as yourself. Catch that. To love your neighbor as yourself. Let me rephrase that just a bit. To love your neighbor as you love yourself. Whew. So now the question is, how much do you love you? Right, amen. How much do you love you? Now, I would usually have you close your eyes and I would say, by a show of hands, how many, but I'm not going to do that. Because I have you close your eyes so that nobody can see that you raise your hand, right? But we're not doing that. But I want you to really take this question in. Do you love yourself unconditionally? You don't have to answer that now, but that's for yourself. You get to go, while you're in your car going home, do I love myself unconditionally? Which means unconditional love is I love you, or let me say, I love me unconditionally, which means I love me no matter what I say or do not say, no matter what I've done or did not do. I love me. Here we go, Mr. Cap. I love me some me. So you can stand and go, I love me no matter what. So I made a mistake. So what? That's transcending and including. Yeah. That's transcendence and inclusion. Let me transcend all of the whatever we want to call that may keep us down and dragged in the quagmire of stuff. Let's transcend that so that we can include the all, because wherever we go, we are God in action. Whew. Week 3. Oh, man. Rising higher, reaching higher. When the road gets rocky. Because sometimes, and we're not talking about ice cream, sometimes the road does get rocky, right? Sometimes the road gets rocky. So, but if I'm transcending all of that, I don't mean like transcend it, but transcending, raising our consciousness. And yes, sometimes the road gets rocky. Sometimes the road may look a little crooked, but that's okay. That's okay, because how we can start looking at that rocky road is that we get to ask empowering questions. God, I just tripped over this rock. What does that mean? Now, it could be that it was just a rock in the way. Or maybe that experience has come. I love that. Maybe that experience has come for us to help us to meet the intention. Maybe the intention was to love more. So then we have an experience that comes up that feels and seems like it's a rocky road, but that experience is there to help us get clear on what my intention is. And my intention is to love more. Okay, so now I have somebody who comes into my awareness that has me go, I don't know about loving that person. Oh man, now that's a rocky road, but I'm like, wait a minute. I am raising my consciousness. I am transcending and I am including. So this rocky road has now become a smooth path. You know why? Because we choose to. We choose that. It's an interesting thing. This can be a rocky road, or it can just be a path full of pebbles. We get to say what it's all about. So when the road gets rocky, do your prayer work. Pick up the phone, call somebody. Hey, I'm going through some stuff now. I don't know what it is about some folks, right, who are so afraid to pick up the phone and reach out. Reach out. That's why we are here. Human beings, we are designed to be with each other. That's why 2020 was so hard for a lot of us, right? In 2021, because we were isolated. We were forced to be separate. Check that out. We were forced to be separate for good reason. I mean, over 500,000 people died, right? And yet, there's a situation where we are forced to not be in our tribe. because we are tribal by nature, right? So, but this is the thing about isolation or being social distancing. And I don't call it social distancing. I called it physical distancing because social media blew up. Zoom blew up, man. And we were, why we were connecting? Because we have an innate desire to be with each other. Okay, well, let's use Zoom. I wish I would have bought stock in Zoom, man, because we are wanting to be with each other. So when that road gets rocky, pick up the phone. Hey, can I schedule a Zoom call with you just to have coffee over Zoom? Right? And now we come to this week. So we've had the rocky road. Let me back up. We were reaching higher, and again, there's nothing to reach for, but we are raising our consciousness. I love you, Spirit. Finding our growth edge, right? And then week 2, we are transcending and we are including. We are transcending and inclusion, right? Week 3, especially when the road gets rocky. Especially when we find ourselves in situations that are just hard to take. That's when we really dig in and do our spiritual practice to transcend even more. Here's the thing about intention. When I set an intention to be patient, sometimes I may have the experience where Spirit goes, okay, be patient in this traffic jam, right? I have the intention to love unconditionally. Okay, here's your ex-wife. Love unconditionally. I don't know why that came through. And I do, from afar. But it's still love. So then it's that rocky road. And even with the rocky road, we come to today's message, which is, I still rise. I still rise. Even through all of that, I still rise. Reaching higher, raising our consciousness is meeting the divine, which is you. See, that when I say that there's nothing to reach for, because we are what we say, there was a saying that went, what we are looking for is looking for us. What we are seeking for is seeking us. No, that's not it. What we are seeking for, we are. What we are seeking for, we are. Tapora, seeking to be a musician. Boom, bam, it's done. Yes, she had to go through, the lessons and all of that, but it was seeking to, and it was even more than seeking to be a musician. It was seeking, how do I share this gift that wants to come through, right? And that goes for each and every one of us. Not everybody is a musician. Not everybody is a painter or one who draws. I learned that last night. But whatever your gift is, because each and every one of us, we've come here with the gift. This is why we are here. Like I like to say in my prayers, that God so loved the world that it clothed itself and then named itself you, so that it can express its gifts through you and as you. So as we go through all of that, and even in the midst of the rocky road, we still rise higher. We still rise higher, meeting the divine known as you. So when we decide, I have to read my note right here just for a moment. When we decide to live from the consciousness of unity, we come face to face with the divine. When we decide, because it's our choice. I love that. As human beings, as being divinely human, humanly divine, we have this great gift called choice. We get to choose. Oh my God, we get to choose. We get to choose what we wear. We get to choose what we think. We get to choose what we eat. We get to choose what we believe. We get to choose what we know. So when we decide, when we make the choice to live from the consciousness of unity, meaning one, that means that I am one with each and every individualized expression of the one right here and right now. And I can go out here too. To be one with that beautiful tree, To be one. And here's the thing, right? How do I know that I'm one with the tree? The breath. The breath connects me with the tree. We know this from science class, right? But it's all so beautiful. So when we decide to live from a space, from a consciousness of unity, talk about loving each other as ourselves, and then we come face to face with the divine. Namaste. There are a couple of different translations for that. The main one is the divine within me recognizes the divine within you. Right? God in me recognizes and honors the God and honors the God in you. So as we are honoring the divine in that person, in order for me to honor that, I have to feel honored to do it, to be it. So as we continue to rise even higher, to raise our consciousness to a place of transcending where we used to be, and as we come face to face with the divine, then we get to experience life divine. We get to experience life abundantly. Why? Because we've let go of the stuff that no longer serves us. That was in week 2. We transcended, right? We are transcending. Another way of looking at that is let me release all of the stuff that doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me to hold that person in contempt. That doesn't serve me. They've gone on to live their lives. It doesn't serve me to be pissed off at whatever Congress is doing. It doesn't serve me. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't do anything if that's what I am called to do, but let me not do it from a place of pissosity. Let me do it from a place of being clear. Let me do it from a place of clarity. Yes, I'm bugged about this. Let me get still. What's mine to do? Who am I to be in this? What's mine to do? Oh, there it is. Let me write this beautiful letter. Not scathing, although you might want to write that one first. Just to get it out so that you can get clear, right? And because here, no matter what happens, we are all one. We are here to transcend. We are here to transcend any and everything that is not in alignment with our highest and greatest good. Why? Because you are the beloved of the beloved. You are the divine showing up as you. God is showing up. If you don't like the word cool, take out the word God, put in love. Love is showing up as you. What would love do? Years ago, it was, what would Jesus do? How about what would love do? What would love do in this situation? Oh, but Eugene, I have a spouse who is really sick. I get it. What would love do? I have a job that is just breaking my heart. Okay, what would love do? Right? And so what we want to do is get to that place where we know that no matter what, still I rise. We want to get to that place of knowing that as we continue to live and to move and to have our being in love, that we cannot help but to be guided. We cannot help but to be directed. We cannot help but to be uplifted and supported. And when we are uplifted and supported, guided and directed and protected, now we having a party. Because now we get to come out and not be ashamed of who we are. No, don't do it that way, Eugene. Do it this way. Now, I want you to dare to be great. Dare to be great. Dare to be awesome. Dare to be audacious. Dare to be bodacious. Why not? Why not? Amen, right? Why not? Who's to stop you? Nobody. You know why? Because you're grown. You are grown. We are the emanation of the divine. So I am wanting you to really tap into your divinity. Tap into who you truly are. You are the divine being of light, the brilliant illumination of pure spirit. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So repeat after me. I am The divine being of light. I am the divine being of light. I am the brilliant illumination of love. Let's pray. Oh, it is so good to be awake, aware, and alive in the consciousness of the one life, the one power, the one presence. There is only one thing happening here, and that is the activity of God, the omni-activity of God, this activity that is everywhere present. And so I am so very grateful to recognize that that is really all that's going on. That this one power, this one presence, this one life is at the center of all of life. From that little blade of grass to the expansiveness of the galaxies, all there is and ever shall be is God revealing himself in all that we see and do not see. Everything that we know and the yet to be known, all that there is God, the infinite intelligence that governs the universe through divine law and unconditional love. And as I recognize that God is all there is, as I recognize that God is everywhere present at all times, I know that at all times God is present right where I am. You see, there is no separation. It is not the life of God separate from my life or your life. It is the life of God revealing itself in, through, and as our lives. And so we stand in this knowing, we stand boldly in this knowing, saying, I dare to be audacious. I dare to be great. I dare to be brilliant. I dare to be a genius. I dare to be all of the good because I dare to be the presence of the one. And so when those thoughts of fear, doubt, and worry creep up, because sometimes they will, we get to release them. We get to let them go, knowing that they have no power. There's no power in those thoughts of fear, doubt, and worry. Instead, because we know there's only one power, and that is the power of the infinite, revealing itself in, through, and as our lives right here and right now. Right here, right now, God is we are. We are the brilliant illumination of pure spirit. For this, I give great thanks. Yes, we are raising our consciousness. We are reaching not only higher, but we are diving deeper into our consciousness, knowing that as we dive deeper, we must fly higher simply because we are the brilliant illumination of pure spirit. So for this, and for so much more than these eyes can see, for this, and for so much more than these ears can hear, and for so much more than these words can ever possibly convey, I remain forever grateful and thankful. It is from the space of thanksgiving that I now release my word. I take my hands off of it because there's nothing else to do but to be. Yeah. To be in acceptance. To be surrendered to the power that beats our hearts. To be the loving presence of the one. And so we allow this to be from now until forevermore. I call it good. I know that this word returns unto us completely fulfilled, and so fulfilled, we allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.